Oh, my fault. I always do this shit. We gotta do the intro.
Now you are good.
Transition to the intro. Then we do the intro. And we back, and we back, and we back. Woo! You got that mad win, boy. Thinking Out Loud podcast. It's your boy Jay Lip, TOLPcast.com. You know what it is. You know where you can find me. I got the homie in the building, C Fry, my bro, representing Columbus, Ohio. He getting his shit together. Forgive him. I'm getting my shit together. Forgive me. See, you good?
Well, I'm making my way to the dungeon.
Go ahead, do your thing. While he does that, I just want to thank everybody for the support up until this point and continuing on. We've been doing this podcast for a minute. Once we get to episode 100, and some big things popping. Not necessarily uh, big things that are going to change the format, but we definitely going to get to a space where we can offer more uh, of the quality content that y'all deserve as fans, as listeners, as viewers, as whatever the fuck. So, with that being said, again, got the homie in the building. He getting situated, looking good, looking right.
Yes, sir.
All
I
right,
can't see you though.
you won't see me.
Oh,
The way that this shit is set up, you won't see me. I'm a ghost, nigga. I'm a
okay.
ghost. You know what I'm saying? So,
Okay.
with that being said, so C Fry, I want to ask you a question. You hit me up a couple days ago because you the homie, and
Right.
you said, you know what, thinking out loud is a place where we can get our thoughts out, where we can think out loud, talk about whatever the fuck we want to talk about, and just share that shit with the world. Well, here we are. We finally made it happen. And with that being said, let's get it popping. You ready?
I'm ready, man. Let's do it.
All right. So the first thing that we talked about previously was there's a young man who was acknowledged. He's a young black man. Want to make that known. A young black man who was acknowledged for scoring higher on his IQ test than Bill Gates and Albert Einstein.
Right.
So there was an article that you asked me to read. However, it was very difficult to find this article. The name of the individual is Ramarni Wilfred, age
Right.
11, scored 162, putting him in the top 1% in the UK. Stephen Hawking, Bill Gates, and Albert Einstein all have an IQ of 160. This young boy has an IQ 2 points higher. Yet, there's been no coverage, there's been no news media, there's been no type of attention that's been given when it comes to the mass market of the culture. And I want to let you open up with how you feel about that.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. When I read about it on Facebook, I thought that's amazing. Like that's amazing. That's what I want my kids to aspire to be because I feel like everybody's smart in their own right, but to be a genius, considered a genius, that's
Absolutely.
something different. You
Yep.
on a whole other plateau. So the fact that we talking about he was 11 in 2014, I believe, and we talking 4 years ago. So he's 14, 15 now, and we talking about a genius that's smarter than Bill Gates, Albert Einstein, and Stephen Hawking, but he gets no media coverage. And I'm gonna be honest with you, when I heard about the story, I did my research on him, and I found out he don't even have a Wikipedia page.
Damn. So not only does it take you 10, 20, 30, 40 different Google searches to find this page, which is what it took me, but you also can't even find him on Wikipedia. You can't find him on any type of news media source that's mainstream. That to me is an issue because that's the good news. We hear about the shit in Chicago all the time. We hear about the shit going on with the president and the illegal immigrants, the legal immigrants. We talk about or we hear about everything else going on, you know, and prayers up to everybody that's going through it right now because these bombs is going through all these people's houses and trying to get people blown up. But let's focus on the fact that we got a young black man, 162, 2 points higher
Right.
than the geniuses of our generation, of our century, and there's no coverage. Why do you think
No,
that is?
I got a lot of reasons why I think that is,
Let's
but
start, let's go through them.
honestly, I think they don't want to portray a young black man as a genius who was smarter than Albert Einstein, Stephen Hawking, and Bill Gates. They don't want mainstream America to know that. Um,
What
Another reason is because he's
when you
not.
say that, let me challenge you and ask you what happens if they do know that?
If they do know that, why haven't they broadcasted that?
No, I'm
Why is
asking you if they do broadcast it. You said that they don't want us to know that. What happens if we do know that this young black man is smarter than anybody that we've ever encountered in this world?
then that negates a lot of their notions about us being a lesser race,
Oh,
which I
yep.
know they don't say that out loud, but we thinking out loud. So that's how they think of us as a lesser race. But to have someone that's a genius, that's considered smarter than anyone that we know in our lifetime, and he's a, a teenage black boy. You hear me?
Yep.
They
I'm
don't want us to. They don't want us to know that. They don't want us to own that. They'd rather hide it and just say, "Damn, this little dude made it." But they don't broadcast it for a reason.
So I guess my question is, if they do broadcast it and they do show it, what happens? Do we now get more equality? Do we get treated differently? Are we are we expected to perform at his level? Like what happens if we do find out?
If we do find out, that means we can expect greater of ourselves, of our
Amen.
children.
Amen.
That's what it means. It don't mean that the world gonna change overnight because we have a young black man that's a genius. It just means that we know we have the ability to be geniuses by their standards.
You know what I
I
feel
mean,
like? I feel like the notion that we can become geniuses comes from the home initially, right? So you have children, correct?
I got four
Okay, so you raise your children in a way that you want them to know and believe that they can do anything and be anything that they want to be, correct?
all the time,
But
every day,
but then it only goes to a certain point if they don't see people that look like them that reach that same level, correct?
to an extent. Yeah,
So is that a concern for you as a black father?
not at all. Because the media may not show them that, but I will. You see what I'm saying? I'll show them. I'll say, look, this is a 14-year-old who's one of the smartest people in the world. You know, it may not be cool in his circle, but guess what? This boy is a genius, and I believe you have the same mind to be a genius. Like, look at his picture, look at his name, look at him, and tell me that can't be you.
One
And I
thing
feel like,
one thing that somebody once told me, and I don't mean to cut you off. One thing somebody once told me is as long as you're capable and able to learn, you can do any damn thing in this world that you put your mind
most
to.
definitely,
So to your
most
point
definitely.
about his age, it says Wilfred could read and write by the time he started preschool, and at the age of 10, he wrote a philosophy paper on fairness that earned him a mock graduation honors from the prestigious Oxford University. These are facts. These are
Facts,
facts.
facts.
But for some reason, these facts are hidden, buried, and basically overlooked by mainstream media. And I
You
kind
know
of
what I see?
go ahead, tell
I
me,
don't,
talk that
I don't
shit.
mean, I don't mean to cut you off, but that shit just made me laugh, man, because that's real. Those are facts, and we talking about a young black genius. And at 11 years old in 2014. He scored 162 on that Mensa IQ and was accepted into the Mensa Society, scoring higher than all three of those people we named earlier.
No, don't
My
take it
thing,
away. Don't take it away from him. You said age 14. No, age 11. Age
age of
11.
11. We talking about an 11-year-old that's smarter than Einstein, Bill Gates, and Stephen Hawking. That's what we talking about.
Yes, sir.
Why? Why isn't mainstream media talking about it? You see what I'm saying?
Yep. I got you.
I I know everything that's going on with Kanye. This is October what 25th, 2018.
Yep.
I know everything that's going on with Kanye. I know everything that's going on with these rap beefs. I stay up on my love and hip hops. But you know what? I also stay up on my news coverage, my politics, my sports. And I've never heard of this young man. And that shit hurt my heart.
How did you find out about him?
My cousin, his name is Jordan Clark. Shout out I am EYEAM. Shout out I
Yeah,
am.
shout him out. Shout him out.
Shout him out. I am clothing. It's for the culture. He posted something because he's very eccentric when it comes to his culture, and I love and respect that about him. But he posted about him, and when I read about it, I couldn't believe it. I was like, I never heard of this guy. Ramarni Wilfred. And so I Googled him and researched it, and it was true. And I was like, why haven't I heard of this young black genius? And then I thought about it and I said, that's probably why, because it's a young black genius.
All right. That's
And it made me,
no. Go ahead. Finish it.
I was just going to say, it made me want to bring awareness to it. And then when I talked to you personally, and you told me you hadn't heard of him, and then you did your research and you found out it was legit, it's like, wow, why haven't we heard of this young black genius?
Right. But when we did speak, I did also make sure that I made it known that it bothered me as well that it took so long to get to that one article. And I'm going to tell y'all the link because I want everybody to check it out. This is not just free pub or whatever. Blackdoctor.org. The title is Meet the Boy Who Scored Higher on IQ Tests Than Bill Gates and Albert Einstein. It was written on February 13th, 2018. This young man has gone unnoticed, unrecognized, and uncelebrated by the culture because the culture doesn't know about him. But like you said, we know about the Drake and the Push beef. We know about what's going on with Takashi 6ix9ine. We know about what's going on with fucking albums dropping, you know what I'm saying, the Scorpion and all that bullshit. But and it's not bullshit to say that we should not enjoy entertainment, but we need to have balance as a culture of entertainment and education. That's where I stand. Education and entertainment. Entertainment is your release, a healthy release. Instead of
Right.
you feeling like, you gotta grab a bottle to drink, or you feel like you gotta have a couple blunts. Like those are things you can choose to enjoy, but I feel like a lot of us we feel like those are the coping mechanisms that get us to a place where we can accept where we are in this world. You hear a story like this, that might empower you. That might empower you as a father to then be like, look, son, look, daughter, see, this is a person who put their mind to their grind and they succeeded far past what we ever expected. And look at what the the spoils that he's going to receive as an adult. If he can do that at 11, imagine what the man's going to do at 21.
Most
He
definitely.
might create the cure to cancer. We never know.
You know what's crazy?
What's
So
up?
so after doing my research, I did a little bit of research, but it wasn't enough to really speak eloquently on this topic. But on
It's
the
thinking
research I
out loud.
did,
Just talk that shit.
Bill Gates, who scored 160 on that Mensa test, he is the second richest person in America. It might be the world, as far as I know, but he's worth 89.5 billion. Fathom that number for a minute. Think on that. But he just got surpassed by Jeff Bezos, who is the owner of Amazon. and he's worth 90.6 billion. Bill Gates started a fund, I think, with Warren Buffett to donate half of their wealth.
You know me, I'm gonna tell you honestly, bro. I'm a fact checker. I gotta tell you how much you said Bill Gates is worth.
89.5
Well,
million.
now it's up to 95.
And what is Jeff Bezos' net worth? Because they say he number one.
Let's check it out. Jeff Be-
Bezos.
Jeff B
Zos.
E Z O S. Jeff
Yeah, he the founder
Bezos.
of Amazon.
You saying what you say his net worth was?
Well, if Bill Gates is 95 now, I don't know. But what I read as of August of 2018, Bill Gates was worth like 89.5 billion, and Jeff Bezos was at like 90.6 billion.
Yeah, he's at a net worth right now of 156 billion.
See what the fuck I'm talking about? You
Yes,
see what
sir.
the fuck I'm talking about? Excuse my language, but you see what the fuck I'm talking about?
Yes, sir. That's what the stocks and the investments and that's what basically the dominant culture. That's what happens. Just between the time that we talked 2 days ago and now, look at how different the numbers are. And both of them just increased. One increased incrementally, he got a couple extra billion. One increased tremendously. The fact that I'm looking at an article right now, Jeff Bezos, founder and CEO of e commerce giant Amazon, is the wealthiest person alive and the first person in modern history to accumulate a fortune of $100 billion.
Boom!
Bezos has an estimated net worth of 156 billion, according to
What the
Forbes.
fuck is that type of money? What the fuck is that type of
That's
money?
that Powerball and that Mega Millions money.
No, that Powerball would have got us 1.6. He
You're
got
right.
166.
You're right. You're right. That's that can't conceive money because it's
So
inconceivable to me.
I don't even want to switch the topic, but because it just segued into this organically, this is what I want to say right now. He's worth $165 billion,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
So let's say Obama did another stimulus package. How much we get off of that? What, like 800 a person?
Yeah, depending if you had kids or not. Yeah.
Whatever. How about
No, I'm saying like I think you got five if you were single. You may have gotten eight if you had a kid. I'm just saying some of us didn't get the stimulus package, nigga. Like that's all I'm saying. we, I was
okay,
I was waiting for it. I didn't get it, but I know
okay,
that
but
he
let me tell
gave
you
it
this.
out.
Let me tell you this. How would your stimulus feel if you got $1,000?
I feel slighted. I feel like what the fuck is that? That's $1,000 versus what my cost of living is. It's not gonna get it.
Okay, well check this out. Bill Gates formed a corporation with Warren Buffett. Those are two of the richest people in America, in the world. And they pledged to donate half of their net worth in philanthropy efforts. Basically, they are giving, and one of the efforts is to find a cure for polio.
Which ironically seems to be coming back right now because there's been a whole slew of cases of kids that have been hospitalized because they're showing signs of polio, which boggles my mind. I don't know how some shit just comes back into the American states and we done eradicated the shit. I'm gonna leave that for another topic. But to your
Now,
point,
you know what? Let me touch on that topic real quick, and then we could get back to it in another discussion.
go ahead.
But honestly, I think the fact that I don't even want to say it, but the
Thinking
fact
out
that
loud, baby. Thinking out fucking loud.
the fact that he donated half of his net worth to philanthropy efforts, I love it. I love it. I
And keep
hope
in
it's that
mind,
same.
and keep in mind for Buffett, I apologize for interrupting you. It's 83 billion he's worth. 83 billion Warren Buffett is worth.
So he's donating 41.5 billion.
He said he was. We don't know
Yeah,
that. He said he was.
he said he was to philanthropy efforts, and so did Bill Gates. And Bill Gates worth, you just said what, one something billion, 100 something billion. So even if he donates 50 billion, and it finds a cure for cancer, finds a cure for polio, finds a cure for any one of these terminal diseases, I'm all for it, because that's, he's saying he wants to donate this money to mankind, to humankind, bettering our lifestyles to where cancer really, we could treat that, but that's a double-edged sword in itself. That's a whole nother topic in itself. Because what if
No,
what
it's
if
not. It's
what if
not really because honestly, if you create a cure to something that is a multi-billion-dollar industry, then you've basically eliminated that industry. I truly believe in my heart, in my mind, and in my soul that there's more money to be gained in the United States and globally by the treatment of cancer, of AIDS, and of other terminal diseases than there ever will be of a cure because nobody can afford the cure.
exactly. And you know what's crazy? This is what I was thinking. If he did find a cure, I bet you he's going to invest in the company that produces the cure.
Absolutely.
Because
No
why
doubt.
wouldn't you?
Right. No doubt.
Why wouldn't you?
That's a cash
But
cow.
but on the same token, would you rather have that? Would you rather have a cure for it, and maybe it costs an exorbitant amount of money, but you have a cure for it? Or would you rather keep paying for treatment and medicine? Like,
Fry, my bro. I gotta tell you this. Coming from the knowledge base that I have, the amount of money that they can siphon from you over a lifetime is a lot more feasible for you as a person than it is for you to ever afford the cure. Because if they can siphon off from you chemo, radiation, and any type of recovery drugs when it comes to cancer, or they tell you we have the cure for your cancer, but the cancer cure is, $250,000, you can't, the average person can't afford that. And to
right,
me, that's why it works. If you charge people a little bit, $2,000 a session, we'll put the house up. We'll get a second mortgage. We'll go bankrupt. We'll do what we got to do to save our kids, to save ourselves. But when you say 250,000, when you even say 1 million for the cure for AIDS, my nigga, if they
right,
say that it's $1 million for AIDS, the only people who are going to be cured from AIDS are the people who are millionaires who have it to spare. Because there's no way in this current lifestyle, in this current economic climate, that we, meaning you and I, and other people of color that we know, can save $1 million for shit right now.
right.
We're trying to get by till tomorrow, till next week, till two
Most
weeks
definitely.
from
We check
now.
the check. We check the check.
So the counter argument that I often hear is, well, that's on you. This is what happens. This is life. You should be better prepared, blah, blah, blah. You know what I feel like? As much as they want to say it's victim blaming to tell somebody who's dressed scantily clad, a young lady who maybe out here, ass out, twerking, and all of a sudden somebody approaches them inappropriately, and we say that that's victim shaming. It's victim shaming to me to tell somebody who can't afford a cure like that they should have done better. You should have been born in a different family. You shouldn't have been born black. You shouldn't have been born in poverty. So I refute that. I refute that 100%.
Okay. Can I counter that?
Absolutely.
I feel exactly what you're saying. And you know what? I agree with it. My only thing is we talking about somebody. I don't think you understand the magnitude of what I'm talking about. We
Break it
talking
down
about,
for me so I understand. I think I understand, but you tell me what I don't understand.
I'm gonna tell you what you don't understand. You just compare Bill Gates to this Mega Millions.
Well, that was a false
So
equivalency, and I did back off from that. That's
uh,
false. You can't say somebody's worth 95 billion and say, well, somebody just won a billion like that.
exactly.
I will give you
We
that.
talking about We talking about dollars. If we talking about $1 billion to $1, I just want $1, and he still has $95. So my dollar means nothing. You understand?
Oh yeah, in comparison, because the dollar is the influence. So
So
the $95 or the 94 plus one that the individual has, he can buy legislation, he can buy laws to be put in
anything he
place,
wants.
anything.
He
But you
he could
can't
buy a
buy
new
shit.
part.
All you
He could
can
buy a
buy
new
is a
body.
couple. All you can buy is some cars, some houses, maybe a couple trips, and if you invest right, you can live off of it. But you can't buy anything that's going to save your life from any type of terminal illness. That's something
Most
that's facts.
facts. And you know what? I'm glad you said that because one thing I do preach is health over wealth. Because you could be a multi-billionaire, multi-millionaire, but if you got cancer and there's no cure for it, then you might have a certain amount of time left to live and your clock is ticking. You know what I'm saying? Money can't buy
Of
time.
course, right? And I want to agree. I agree with you on that. I want to make sure that I spend these last couple minutes on the fact that there was one other conversation that we had that we have time for to dive in tonight on this freestyle that I feel like is so important and so poignant is the fact that when you talk about money and how it relates to legislation and how it relates to law, we know motherfuckers buy the law. We know that they buy these groups, the coal miners, the farmers, the NRA
Right,
even. So we talked earlier about the fact of there's no real good source for people of color to go to and find out information on who they should and shouldn't be voting for based on their own interest. What we're being told is and being force fed is you're a Democrat because you're black, so vote down the Democratic line. But what happens is you vote down that line and the same bullshit, your life doesn't change. That's how I say it. Your life doesn't
right,
change. So voting Republican, voting Democrat, they're basically telling you to choose the red pill or the blue pill, but you don't know what the fuck's gonna happen between either one of them, except for the fact that your situation won't change. So you're trying to
exactly.
look at how will my situation be affected negatively the least. And what we had talked about was where are the sources of information for black people that are broken down so that we can just simply go and read and learn about it versus going and seeing all these ads on TV. XYZ prosecutor voted for, rape cases and blah, blah, blah. And then this guy did that and the third. It's all slander, but we don't have any
Right,
concrete information. So I want you to speak on how
exactly.
you feel about that.
So the way I feel is, as a registered voter, I feel suppressed because I don't have any concrete information on any of the topics. I don't know what any of these people stand for. Like, I know it's time to vote because they start playing all these political commercials, and really all it is somebody slandering someone else rather than talking about the points that they are for or against. And I feel like as a black voter, we should have that information readily available without having to dig through Google for 20, 30 minutes. I feel like
I
we should have
agree.
a sub to where there is voter information and you could go in there and look at each one of the issues. You could look at each one of the people running, and you can make an informed decision based on what they believe and what they will bring to the table. And if you don't have that information, you basically going off hearsay. So, case in point, I might vote for Senator A instead of Senator B, but I don't know what Senator A stands for. All I know is that Senator B put out a commercial and it said, Senator A is all for healthy living and putting food in schools and keeping obesity out of the limelight. But we caught Senator A eating at a McDonald's. So you don't want a hypocrite in office. Vote for Senator B. And I'm like, wait a minute, but I don't know nothing about what Senator A stand for, and I don't know what nothing about Senator B stand for. All you told me was that Senator A was a hypocrite on this particular subject. I agree. But You might be a hypocrite. Senator B might be a hypocrite on the subject, and they might highlight that in Senator A's campaign.
So
But
let me ask you this then, real
it's
quick. How do we get this started? How do we get this started? This central hub of information, so that we can basically check in, get our information, check out, and be informed voters. What is your
so
recommendation?
my recommendation is we need to get like starting with Ohio because this is where we at, and I know you Michigan.
No, I'm down here, motherfucker.
You
I'm down.
here, you here
Yeah, I'm
now.
here. Four three
You
two two
represent
eight.
that mighty
Four three
'08
two two eight.
most death. But check this out. I think it would start with people who are on the campaign trail. As a registered black voter, I would hope somebody in Columbus, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Dayton, Youngstown, all the major cities in Ohio, we would have somebody that's black, and they put out a unbiased platform to where they put what each person votes for or against, to where you have a central hub of information. And I want it to be open like a Wikipedia. You can search it and it's fact checked, and you know this is legit. We should have something to help voters instead of suppress them, because at this point I'm like, I don't know who to vote for. And I shouldn't feel like that as a registered voter. I should feel informed. And I do my research. I do my due diligence. So you can't say, well, just do your research and you'll find it. But if we're talking about 40 issues and we're talking about 20 different people that we got to vote for, shouldn't there be some form of information for us to just look at and weigh pros and cons for both sides? There
Ab-
is nothing.
Absolutely. And you're absolutely right with the fact that there's nothing. I feel like right now we're used as pawns, but you know what? We can change that. The way we can change that, we got to have another conversation. We've reached our 30 minutes, so let's get into it. You got anything for them to holler at you at, anywhere they can reach you at? If somebody want to give you some feedback, you my boy C Fry, but I know you got to protect the identity. So is there anything that we need to know about you, or any business plans, any type of endeavors that you're doing that you want to share with the people?
No.
Okay, with that fucking being said,
No, 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 wait. Don't cut me off yet. Don't cut me off yet. I'm saying I don't want to share that with the people. What I do want to share with the people is I'm gonna be back on TOL podcast. And if you do want to get in touch with me, get in touch with me through J Lip. Because I feel like a real conversation needs to be had on a lot of these topics. And if you're willing to help, if you're willing to stand up and make something of this, then hit up J Lip. He got it.
oh yeah, and I'm gonna tell y'all at I am J Lip, at TOL Podcast 100, Facebook TOL Podcast. We everywhere, baby. We on SoundCloud, YouTube, Google Play, iTunes, all the shit on the bottom of the screen. But I will say this: we're gonna have to pause this conversation because we need to dig deeper into this. There's a reason, and we need to have a solution. And that's how what I
But
always believe. So with that being said, I appreciate you, bro. See Fry in the building, representing Columbus, Ohio. Despite where you from, got love for you. Representing
ah,
representing
you hating
Detroit.
ass. Listen,
Representing Detroit by way of Columbus. It's your boy J Lip. Holla at us. We here. And
I got one last word.
oh god, here we go.
I'm I'm Ohio Representative J Lip. Cincinnati, by way of Cincinnati, via.
Okay.
But I'm gonna tell you like this. Honestly, I'm gonna be back, bro, because we really do have more to dive in on these subjects.
We got it.
And
We got it.
I
We going in. We ain't got nothing but time in life, and that's a blessing right there. So with that being said, I don't want to go over too much, but I appreciate the conversation. I feel like it was necessary, bro. You kept it real and 100, and that's all I ever asked. Think It Out Loud podcast, TOLpodcast.com. C Fry, J Lip, and we out.
100.